Yo, coming to you live from World Championship in San Jose. Welcome to the Living Legends podcast.
This episode of Living Legends Podcast is brought to you by the Banish Zone. That's right, our sponsors here for today are going to be holding a ProQuest on November the 4th, and they're making it a 1K event with $1,000 given out to the top 8, and they're also giving away a Rainbow Heart of Fayandal. Make sure you get down to the Banish Zone on the 4th of November for their ProQuest, and make sure you take me. I'm clearly the best hero in this meta.
Yeah, we're all back together again today after a few
just one.
2 episodes where it's been.
It was just one.
Well, I wasn't on the Brian one, and then it was just me and you before that.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
The
yeah.
original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're back together again.
Boys are back in town. Boys are back in town.
Everything is working this time, and we have confirmed, and that must mean that it is time to begin. Welcome, everyone, to the Living Legends podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Flesh and Blood related. I am your host for today. My name is Bill from the Spike Feeders and also from the Living Legends podcast. And joining me, as always, are my 2 lovely co-hosts. We'll go alphabetically, starting with Az. Just as soon as he takes a drink of his water, I feel like a waiter at a restaurant.
Yeah, how's it going, everybody? Hope everyone's doing well. It's going to be, I don't know what topics we got lined up for today. Bill's the host. I think he's been doing some stuff in Flesh and Blood, so it could just be like a general what we've been doing sort of situation. But Worlds is right around the corner. Looking forward to it. It's going to be good. And should be a fun time. So let's do this.
Yeah, it's a nice like catch-up episode. Hey, there is a little bit of news. They showed that World's promo card, the Sigil of Solace, that looks amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Looks very good.
Sagrada.
I'm even more jealous and have FOMO that I will not be there and get that cool promo card and have to spend like $400 or whatever it's going to cost on the secondary market.
Yeah.
400 is a little extreme. I bet it'll end up being around $100 or something like that. But still.
Yeah. And speaking of, you talking already for everybody who doesn't know who you are. This is Kel, also known as Red Zone Rogue.
Hello. Yeah, that's me. I'm Kel, Red Zone Rogue. This is going to be a pretty, like I said, a kind of like a little catch-up episode, fun banter and all that kind of good stuff. Bill's got a lot going on, so we'll learn what's going on in the world of Bill. And this is kind of like our in-between LSS episode, because the last one we had Brian Gottlieb, and the next one is going to be really exciting. Because we're going to have, not that Brian Gottlieb isn't really exciting, but he's been on a few times. We have a new LSS person coming on, none other than Sam Yang from, you'll know him as the artist, Sam Yang, who did Dash and Fi and Crack Bobble. But also, I do believe he is the assistant creative director for Flesh and Blood, and he's also the senior concept artist as well. So he is like very into the creative side, and it's going to be awesome to get that standpoint. So I'm really looking forward to that. And also, I don't want to gas it up too much, but Sam tossed the idea of doodling our D&D Flesh and Blood characters while we do the interview, and then he'll show progress as we do it. So for the visual people, you'll see that. For the audio people, you won't see it, but we'll post it places, so you'll be able to see it other places. But anyway,
yeah. Oh, we'll definitely be sharing those around, because that's such an exciting opportunity for us to get. Every so often I just realize some of the things that I'm like able to do because of being an online person trademark. And that's definitely one of them. Like, just you invited me to a chat with Sam Yang, and Sam Yang was very genuinely like, hey, it's really exciting to be able to talk to you guys, like that he actually has an opportunity to. And I'm just like, I'm just a guy. Like,
hey, at the end of the day, we're all just guys, right? We're all just guys. We do different things. We're all just people. And Sam, if people haven't seen it before, I have a really, really long old interview with Sam that's like 3 hours long on my channel on Red Zone Rogue. a lot has changed since then, so it's going to be great catching up to him. And Sam is just a genuinely super nice guy. If you ever met him at a thing, he's just super kind. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to be able to chat with him because I've never had the opportunity. So it'll be really cool to just be able to gush about how much I like his art. Just like how whenever we have Brian Gottlieb on, I find something to gas him up about and be like, oh my God, the design of this is insane.
Yeah. I don't want to.
A ton of talented folks over there.
Pre-gas Sam up.
Just a quick one as well. Obviously, this relates to a certain degree. Obviously, he's going to be drawing our Dungeons and Dragons Adventures in Wraith or whatever it's called characters.
Yes.
So we are still due a very, very long conclusion climax to our campaign, which was supposed to be a one shot, but ended up being 3 episodes long.
It's not just 3 episodes, but like 3 episodes that are all like over 2 hours long, and the third episode's like 4 or 5 hours long. It's like a 10-hour thing.
It was brilliant. I can't wait to listen to that back. So
it was just so good, and Kale did such a great job. And I'm already looking forward to the next one. Him and I had a chat about like what happened in between the last campaign and this new one, because it's like several months have passed, is the idea. And I pitched him a couple ideas, and I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but he was like, that's such a cool idea. So
nice.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep that as a secret for now, so that there's something to be enticed about later down the line. But speaking of things, surprisingly, I actually did Flesh and Blood stuff this past weekend. It never happens. But awesome. I think by weight, this weekend was mostly Flesh and Blood. So very exciting. On Saturday was Winnipeg's ProQuest at our local game store, Fusion Gaming. We had 15 people come out. So it ended up being 4 rounds of Swiss with a cut to top 4. And it was actually a relatively diverse meta. I think we had 3 Lexis out of 15. I think we had 1 Dromai, maybe 2. I actually have the breakdown somewhere, but we had a Dorinthia. We had a Max.
Nice.
It was it was awesome. It was really cool. Everybody had a great time. We had an Icelander as well. Somebody who I met years and years and years ago that apparently just got into Flesh and Blood. I think he said like with Outsiders. And it was okay. So here's the breakdown for the Winnipeg ProQuest. It was 3 Lexis, 2 Katsus, a Dorinthia, Vincent, Dromai, Bravo, Max, Azalea, Kano, Azuri, Icelander, and Viserai.
Cool.
So like very little overlap, very little duplicates. So and then Dromai ended up taking it home. That was our local player, Seth. He is very good. He's been playing Dromai basically since Dromai came out. He's gone to Nats and topped, I think it was, I don't remember what exactly his spot was, but it was at least top 64. I think it was like mid top 64. I don't want to say 32 specifically, but it was pretty close. So yeah, definitely deserving, very talented player. And you might be wondering, well, what was I playing? I was judging the event. So I just kind of watched it happen. I got the judge sleeves, which are Typanis, which I really like, and they're just going to sit in my box in my drawer that just has boxes of sealed cool sleeves.
Yep.
And then I also got a season 2 judge pack.
Ooh. Did you open it?
Oh, nice.
I did open it.
Ooh.
I did see somebody open on I think it was Twitter or YouTube Shorts or something. They got, I believe, to be the stinker of the pack, Smashing Good Time. I did not open an Art of War, but I did open better than that.
Okay, well, let me guess. Okay, so in those packs, you can get Art of War. You can get, what's the other one? Was it Sigil Assaults? No. I thought it was something like that. There is the other judge thing, right? There's like the Proclamation of Abundance, right? That draws everyone up to their hand size. There's Art of War. There's Smashing Good Time. There's like 2 more, right? I think there's like 5.
There's Adult Vincent.
Oh, I did not.
That one.
I did not remember that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's the only way so far to get adult Vincent
Or
is in
that,
these judge packs.
That or B DM Armada, who got one mailed to him for spoiling the hero.
So the six cards that you can get are
Pummel,
Smashing Good
isn't it?
Time, Art of War.
Pummel's on the first one.
Yeah, Pummel was
the first one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was Art of War, Smashing Good Time, Proclamation of Abundance, Vincent, Last Ditch Effort, and then the one that I got, which was Fate Foreseen.
Fate Foreseen. That's the one I was thinking of. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
So
I said, what did I say?
about that one.
I said Sigil of Solace. I knew it was like I knew it was like a generic, pretty good card.
Generic, good red utility card. So yeah, definitely not upset to have that. I kind of want to. One of my friends reached out a little while ago. Shout out Mink, as always, every single episode.
Chad, man.
He is Riptide guy.
Reached out to me and was like, "Hey, my friend just picked up like a ton of things. Are you interested in any of these?" It also included like it was a playset, 3 of the Chinese Fate Foreseens, the like promo ones.
Yeah, the ones with the hands. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if they were sync belows, then I probably would, but and I couldn't remember if they were actually sync belows. So once I looked them up and saw that they were Fate Foreseens, I'm like, I could maybe go for like 1. I don't really play Fate Foreseen anything, but having 1 would be cool. I run a couple in my Sorcery deck.
Yeah, now I kind of really want 1 because now I can have like max rarity but also mismatched Fate Foreseen.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Slap that in like a Blitz or a UPF deck.
Yeah. I just think that would be really, really funny. So that was my Saturday, and then Sunday. I know I've been talking about it for a while, and there are a couple people in the Spike Feeders community that have been sort of messaging about it. But we did finally sit down and film our review of the LSS and Tolarian Community College product Round the Table.
Nice.
So we played 2 in-person games, and honestly, I think they both went really, really well. It was everybody else's first time playing UPF at all.
Oh, okay.
And everybody seemed to really enjoy the product. So I think without spoiling it too much, everybody had a great time, and I think that's really really indicative of how well the product was designed. Like, just different sort of power levels of decks. Sort of like, obviously, the Ira one felt like it did kind of the least sometimes, but it did still have impactful turns. But yeah, the Guardian being able to block for everybody really helps to sort of balance out any sort of those inconsistencies between either just turns or power level in general. And then, of course, you just leave Melody alone and she just combos somebody out of the game.
Like I said,
moonshots someone.
Don't ignore the Bard. She will try to sway you and be like, "Don't attack me. I'll give you tokens. Kill her. She is a wolf in sheep's clothing." Yes.
Yep. That is exactly what happened to me.
Yes.
Brilliant.
But yeah, anyway, so we got to do that. Ended up being a really, really great time. And yeah, that was basically exactly what I did with my weekend. And I was really happy to do it. Really happy to see everybody in the community again. They were all really happy to see me, which always feels nice. So yeah. I'll toss it over to either of you guys if you have any updates about your week in Flesh and or Blood. We'll start with Kel.
Trying to think. I haven't done too much in regards to Flesh and Blood. I had a pretty fun chat with Az and Jim, the Azalea cult leaders, just talking about Azalea. That video actually came up today, which is the day before the Living Legends podcast goes live. So for you, it was published yesterday, and it's just like a 40-minute chat, kind of Living Legends style, just chatting about the history of Azalea as a character. We don't really go deep into like deck tech kind of stuff. It's just talking about like the high highs and the low lows of the character, and how like the whole reason I wanted to do the video is because I saw like people posting on Twitter like saying things like Ranger class busted or Ranger class broken, and that to me is hilarious. If you know like the history of the Ranger class, it was like the joke class for the longest time. It was the meme class. Azalea was the joke meme hero. Everyone was like, you know, there was a bounty on like, you know, if you could top anything with Azalea, you'd get a bunch of prizing or something, because no one thought that would ever happen. And now Azalea won a calling, and she's Ranger is one of the better classes in the entire game. And so I felt like I needed to talk about that. And that's the most I've done with Flesh and Blood. I haven't really played much. That's the curse of being a content creator. You spend more time making videos than actually playing the games that you talk about. So mostly it was that. I do want to play some more Flesh and Blood soon though. But yeah, I'll toss it over to Az. How about you, Az?
Yeah.
I've been doing a few things, mainly Azalea related. Obviously, is that the thing was the thing we did on your channel was decent. Just sort of revisiting the character from sort of rags to riches as such as the story goes. Yeah, I had Justin Q on the channel, who was the winner of the calling. So we spoke about an hour and a half worth of Azalea stuff, talking through all of his experiences as a player and how he brung Azalea to win the calling, which was great. And there's a load of other things really as well, like obviously seeing Justin's deck tech go up was nice to watch that. Also seeing that on the World's Hype advert, there's a shot of James White signing cards. And what cards is he signing on the advert? He's signing Azalea Cult membership cards on the advert. so that was funny to see.
I remember that exact moment too. That was in the first Worlds where you were talking with James, and I think Olivia Gobert Hicks. She's the one taking that picture, I think, because she was like recording it for Az.
Yeah. But it's just funny to see that on the actual advert, just like James White, meet, greet, and play with the creator, and he's signing cards, and they're actually Azalea Cult membership cards. just goes to show that he's happy to sign, community made stuff, which is just hyping up the characters that he created, basically. So yeah, it was awesome stuff. But yeah, chatting a lot of Azalea this week and just sort of celebrating at the same time. It's a shame I couldn't get on the Living Legends the last time with Brian, because he seemed like, we know Az he's out there partying and losing his mind over the fact that Azalea want to call him. But the reason I was away last week is because I was in London and I was attending a metal gig with my girlfriend. It's the first metal gig she's ever been to. And it's not like pure heavy screamo stuff. It was a little bit, but it was a lot more ambient and sort of post-hardcore sort of style stuff, so she could sort of relate to it to a certain degree.
How many?
As soon as I
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was gonna make a joke.
As soon as I showed her the lyrics, she was like, "Oh, okay, these songs actually mean stuff." I was like, "Yeah." They do actually sing words, it's not just.
The lyrics in like melodic death metal songs, like a lot of the stuff like Dark Tranquility, they're like good lyrics, man. They're like, they spend a lot of time. It's just when they're, you can't understand half the things they say because it's all, screaming. But
exactly.
And death growls. I was going to ask how many times you guys got elbowed in the face, and if the mosh pit turned into a circle pit, and if you had to pull her out of the way from getting stepped on by someone, knocking people over. Yeah,
Luckily not. There was no circle pits. It was because the band that I was seeing, they've basically been around since 2004. So the people that were seeing them now, they basically touring a whole album in its entirety. So they were only playing one album basically, and the people that have been around long enough are all like mid-30s, late 30s. So they don't want to be getting in mosh pits. They don't want to be doing all of that. They just want to go there to sort of appreciate the music. So it was just basically just people just nodding their heads like this the whole time. For audio listeners, I'm just mashing my head around.
It's like a goth rock concert. You're just kind of like,
yeah. You just appreciate it, and it was good. But that's the reason I wasn't on the last one. So massive tangent already. But we're back now, all three of us back in the same room, which is good. But yeah, mainly for me, it's just been Azalea stuff this week, just appreciating and celebrating that achievement. I don't know where she goes from here. Obviously, Dallas, looking back on the Azalea chat that we had on your channel, Kel, we was like, where does she go from here? We still got Dallas, Fort Worth to see, and who won that? Dromai.
So when Bill, I kind of was hesitated to say this, but Bill mentioned that Dromai won his locals too, and I was like, you know what? This is kind of just being not cynical, just being a heel a little bit of them. Just like, hey, now that Lexi's gone and people can't complain about Lexi, Dromai's up on the chopping block next. Dromai's the new thing that everyone can now complain about. So, Lexi done. You can stop complaining about Lexi. Now everyone can start complaining about Dromai because there you go. That's going to be the new one. Like,
what do we think's going to happen? Because obviously it's now official news. I'm not sure whether we were segueing into this or not, but she is now living legended officially, right? So November the 6th, she's out of here.
Queen. Yeah. I'll hear.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what it's like for you because that's like one of your favorite characters.
Here we go. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, so savage. I can't even imagine like Azalea living legend.
And then there's the Azalea next to him, and then there's a Kalia of the Vast print by Richard Kane Ferguson, and there's some anime stuff. Anyway, for the people, I'm showing bits of my studio. If you are a audio only, I've mentioned it before. I have a giant Lexi print from Federico Musetti that is numbered 2. I've numbered 2 out of 10. It's quite large. I don't know, like 4 feet tall, something like that. It's pretty big. It takes up almost the entire wall here. But the thing is with me and Lexi, I love Lexi. I think she's one of my favorite characters in the entire game. I think Uzuri is now my favorite character, but Lexi's pretty close. However, I don't play Lexi in CC. I play her in Blitz. So like her hitting Living Legend in CC is like,
true.
It's like, okay, yeah. Now people can stop complaining about Lexi and I can play with my favorite character without hearing everyone just constantly complain about it. So that's cool.
And I guess we have Living Legend format as well. So I guess you can still play it. You just have to play it against Starvo and Prism. And
if you want to play the adult version, yeah. I mean, like, you can always still play Blitz. You can play UPF. You can play her in Commoner. She's not very good in Commoner because you don't have Voltaire. Voltaire really does a lot of the heavy lifting there.
That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, but so I used to play on Blitz and shoot people with my arrows and Blitz. The same way.
What does it look like now? What does it look like now that she's gone? Obviously, Dromai's obviously rising up.
Oh, you mean like in the CC like competitive meta? Oh, definitely Dromai, Icelander, Bravo.
Do we see lots of ninjas, Phis, and Katsus? I think we've already been seeing that. You saw that as well, didn't you, Bill? A couple of Katsus. Was there any Phis?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were 2 Katsus, no Phis. There was one person that was considering playing either Phi or Katsu, and yeah, they locked in Katsu basically like the night before.
I do want to give a shout out to friend of mine, at least. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he goes by, I think it's TCG Talk, and he got like day 2 at calling with Katsu. He's another content creator. He's just a really nice dude, and he's into a lot of different card games. But
nice.
He was either considering bringing Katsu or Arachne, and I was like, do it, bring Arachne. And he's like, he ended up bringing Katsu and got day 2, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to make sure I said the right person. I'm so bad with like names. I'm pretty sure it's TCG Talk.
I think he was on stream, wasn't he? I think
he was
against Bravo. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I might have watched that one. Yeah, but that was going on this weekend, and obviously Flake and no, not Flake. DM Armada was there, wasn't he, doing the coverage? And who else was there? Brendan, Tannen.
Yeah, Tannen.
That was cool.
There.
I was tuning in and out of that. That was quite good.
Yeah. So TCG Talk is his YouTube channel. His name is Dylan, but I just wanted to make sure I got the YouTube channel right. But yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. So anyway, yeah, Katsu.
Good stuff.
So like I think ninjas can kind of work in there. There still needs to be some aggro decks, and I think ninjas are going to be the ones to, other than Dromai, I guess, get in there. But I think Dromai is like Dromai, Icelander, definitely the top, the scariest decks, I think, because I think they're the most degenerate ones too that are left, right? So yeah. Everything.
Goddamn talented heroes. God damn it!
Like Uzuri's pretty good too. Uzuri's always like Uzuri. I feel is like she's pretty good most of the time, but she's never like amazing. So people will get top 8 with Uzuri here and there. She got top 8 at the calling that Azalea won, but Uzuri is just like never really converted. I think she's currently in like that middle ground that Azalea was in for a little while, where she's like doing pretty well, but never actually, getting the first place. So
I think she'll do anything like until Dromai goes either, because that's just horrible. Like
it's pretty brutal.
Into Dromai, yeah.
We run the stupid card from Outsiders, from Outsiders just because of that. It's the one that you can block with from your arsenal. I can't remember what it's called. It's the 6 attack
down and dirty.
Yeah, I should know what it's called. I have a full foil playset of them in my Uzuri list, but it's not. I wouldn't call it a favorite card. So it's just like, oh yeah, it's that one card that I can block with from my arsenal. So there you go. The easy popper. But yeah, I think Dromai is the one that people are going to start complaining about. I mean, maybe who knows? I've heard some whispers of Dash being pretty good, Dash.io, but I safe bet is Dromai. So that's where I think the CC is.
Yeah, World's going to be interesting to see like what's actually going on, because I imagine everyone's been practicing as if Lexi was not there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
everybody knew that she was going to go, so you don't have to worry about, for instance, the reason why Justin put Tar Pit traps in his deck was because of Lexi shoring up that matchup. But that doesn't matter anymore, so those could just go straight out of there. Unless, no, actually, they're still pretty good against Katsu and ninjas and stuff, I imagine. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what people bring going forward.
So while I think a lot of people are going to complain about Dromai more, she's going to be the flavor of the month for people complaining on Twitter. I actually not sure if Dromai is going to win Worlds. I think there's still a good chance that Icelander wins it again for like 2 years in a row. Because I think Icelander just plays well into a lot of the cards in the field. Like Icelander plays well into Ninja, plays pretty well into Dromai, I think. And like a Bullander plays really well into like a Dromai. And then you just reward super high skill level, and that's the people who are going to be competing in Worlds are going to be the super high skill level. So I would not be surprised if if you see Michael Hamilton run back at Icelander in top 8 or better, with Icelander. So yeah, we still have one more elemental hero in the game. Everyone still got one more to get out of there.
It'll happen eventually. I mean,
she's pretty close actually. She's getting up there in the Living Legend points. I think if she wins Worlds, she Living Legends. I think that's or it's like really close. I think.
Yeah, she's at 872.
Yeah, how many did you get from Worlds? Is it 200 points? It might be 200 now.
Looks like Lexi got 120. This is just a screenshot of the when it was updated on the 23rd, which was yesterday. And I think on the Living Legends page it actually says how much everything awards.
I want to say Worlds gives you 200 points. It's like 150 or 200. It's one of those. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Worlds gives 200.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So if Icelander wins Worlds, she Living Legends. Yeah.
Yeah. Then she gone.
Yep.
No more ice. Ice at all.
So from now until the next B&R update, everyone just play Dromai and win every event with Dromai except for Worlds. And then Icelander can win Worlds, and then we'll have both Dromai and Icelander hit Living Legend on the next B&R update, and then everyone can go back to having fun. That was tongue in cheek, by the way. That's not how I truly feel. I think it's fine, but it's fun to play into this kind of stuff, especially when you see it so much on like Twitter.
Yeah,
this is the kind of stuff that Brian Gottlieb has to listen to all the time.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't he saying something about, or was that just you, Kel, talking about Robbie Wen and how it's like you should take some time to just sort of bask in the spotlight a little bit?
Yeah, we're talking about Robbie in the last episode. Robbie is just he's an awesome guy, but he's also, so if you don't know who Robbie Wen is, so I do want to give him a proper shout out. Robbie Wen is the creative director for Flesh and Blood. If you look on the back of a booster box, it literally says directed by Robbie Wen, and I think it's actually says it above James's name. Let me take a look on the back. It says Flesh and Blood created by James White, and underneath that it says directed by Robbie Wen. So like Robbie is like Very, very important. James gets a lot of the spotlight, but I think Robbie deserves a lot more. I will say this, it's not because he wants to be in the spotlight and they're not letting him. I asked Robbie and I'm like, hey man, I'd love to have you on and chat with you sometime. And he said he doesn't want to. He basically is like, I'll let James be the face and I'll just kind of do my own thing, which I think is totally fair. Not everyone has to be in the, on the internet, they can just exist and do their own thing. And I think Robbie's doing a fantastic job of that. But yeah, I still want to give credit where credit is due. I think Robbie does a huge amount for Flesh and Blood and does not get the credit he deserves. And I think that is extended to the creative department in general, which is one of the reasons why I'm so stoked to get Sam Yang on next week to talk about it. Because like the reason you love your favorite character is likely because of Robbie to some degree, right? I mean, you might love the mechanics of a character, but the reason a character looks the way they do and has the kind of vibe they do, it's probably a huge part because of Robbie Wen, or they have the lore and the story they do, or if they're from the part of the world that you love, he's the creative director, right? He's the one who, basically helped create the world. The way I think about Flesh and Blood is James is like, I think James creates some of the characters too, but he mostly does like the game side of things, and then Robbie does like all of the world building and the character side of things and the art. And then there's like a good shout out Chris Pierce too, because Chris Pierce is like the more of like the business side. But I think of Flesh and Blood, like upper echelons is like a kind of like a triangle. They're the big wigs at Legend Story Studios. Yeah. But they're changing. Yeah. Their team's changing. You have Brian Gottlieb up there now, who has one of the game designers, and once again, Sam Yang is the assistant art director, I think is his title now.
We'll be able to confirm that pretty quickly here.
Yeah, I was looking, trying to find a good picture of Sam to do a little thumbnail thing for, and that's what it said on one of his profiles. So I was like, I assume that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I just want to give a huge shout out to the whole creative department, not just Robbie Wen, but the whole team. There's Sam, there's MJ, all the other artists like Lindner and Iswardi, and yeah, I think they do a great job. I think they're the unsung heroes of Flesh and Blood.
I got a big kick recently because I shared Felicia Lang. She signed the Red and the Ledger map, which is actually on its way to me now, thanks to the wonderful people at the Games Haven for getting it signed and shipped to me. But I got a big kick because she followed me the other day. I'm like, yes, the artist of Red and the Ledger followed me back. What a lovely old job.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm very, 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 very hyped about that. But I can't wait to get that back. I don't know if the artists have been confirmed for Worlds yet, have they? I don't know who's going to be there.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
I don't think they've been confirmed yet. I don't even know if Sam's going to be there. He was there last year for Worlds. I have no idea if he's going to be there this year. I guess we'll maybe ask him when he's on the show next week.
Yes.
Yeah. I have no small degree of FOMO for Worlds since I can't make it. So all the other listeners out there who also can't make Worlds like me, I have sympathy, mutual sympathy for us. So we'll just watch on the sidelines and be like, ooh, that's cool. Yeah.
I'll be trying to capture it as much as I can.
I just recently saw the post that Flake put up on the official Flesh and Blood page, his what to expect in Barcelona sort of thing. And it was helpful. At the same time, it was like I'm not the target audience for it, because it was very much like, here are the events, here's what to expect from like a competitive standpoint and whatever. And that is like a really useful resource. Like, don't get me wrong, especially for people who are making the trip out from overseas, or, you go all this way and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this isn't what I was expecting at all. For anybody who's anticipating to go there, even just to play casually, I would really, really recommend checking out his article that he posted recently. It just kind of keeps sneaking up on me that it's like less than a month away.
It's like
3 weeks.
It's like 24 days away or something like that. It's pretty close. Yeah. It's coming up.
So yeah, I'm really excited. it's going to be a really good time. For anybody who's listening, that is also going to be there. Feel free to come up and say hi. I actually like get really honored when that happens. So
he's got
like
a couple of good deeds promos as well.
Yeah, I have. How many?
Those things are like $70, man.
I have this many still.
It's
like
oh wow,
20-ish of them.
Let me look it up.
So yeah, but the last time I was at a big event was the Magic Fest in Minneapolis, and because I'm not really at the forefront of the MTG side of the spike feeders, I was walking around with Elliot, and they were like, "Oh my God, you're from the spike feeders! Can you sign my stuff?" And I would just have to like stand and wait for them to finish their interaction, and then the guy would look at me and then walk away.
Funny.
If people recognize me, please feel free to say hi.
I'm sorry,
Absolutely.
I was wrong. The Good Deeds promos are not $70. They're only $57.
Oh,
so
of course.
Holy hell!
So if you want to go get a $50 bill from Bill, go say hi.
Go and say hi. Absolutely.
I cannot sell them to you. It says so on the box. So.
Well, I'm not going to have any to. I've pretty much given all mine away now, unfortunately. I'll have a load of Azalea Cult membership cards you can come and get. So if you're a Cult member and you love Azalea, come and get one. That'll be good. But yeah, it's going to be it's creeping up on us, isn't it?
I only have a couple Good Deeds promos left. Most of mine were from the art thing that I did. If you don't know what that is, I basically funded an art piece with a Flesh and Blood artist, and anyone who helped with the funding got one of those, more or less. That's kind of what it was. You got a playmat, you got that, you got some other stuff, and that was just, I used it to basically fund an art thing, and then I gave away some as well, and I recently gave away another one for the Flesh and Blood 4-year anniversary, and I might have I can see them over here. I might have like 1 or 2 left over. Obviously, I'm keeping a playset for myself, but. Other than that,
God, yeah.
Other than that, I think I might have only a couple, but those ones I'm saving for like special things, like the 4-year anniversary. I might do something, for another anniversary, or maybe for my milestone for my channel, because we're slowly getting close to 20,000 subs. It's just trucking along, slowly getting there. I was like, maybe we'll get there in this year. Maybe, I don't know. We're 17.8. So, hey.
Very nice.
Anyway.
Couple months left, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. It'll be painfully close and probably not there, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, still some pretty great milestones that you've hit, and
yeah. But anyway, so that's that. I hope you guys have a fun time at Worlds. And for the listeners out there, I'm curious if you're listening this far, how many of you out there who are listening are going to be able to make it to Worlds this year? I'm actually very curious overall on the attendance, because I've been thinking about this a little more often, because it's in Europe, right? And they've always said that the U.S. market is the biggest market for Flesh and Blood, and so with that said, I'm curious to see how big the Worlds are going to be, like, how many people are actually going to be able to fly to Spain. Like, I ran into problems, right, with my, long story short, the State Department did not accept my birth certificate because it was cut weirdly. I got my birth certificate from a military base. They cut it in a weird way. It worked for getting all my other things, like my driver's license and everything, but for whatever reason, the State Department didn't like it, so I have to get another one. That's why I can't go. I'm getting another one, but I have to mail the application to the state I was born in, and they have to mail me back my birth certificate. And then I have to mail the birth certificate back to the State Department. And then they have to mail me back the passport. And what that means is too long. I'm going to get it, but I'm not going to get it in time. So that's why I can't go. And I'm a little annoyed with it, but I'm curious to see, my point is, I'm curious to see how many people are running into problems or don't have their passports or just can't afford it. Cause I mean, it's not cheap either. Right. You need a couple $1,000 probably to do this if you're flying in from the States. So I'm curious to see how the event is compared to.
In my Discord earlier, I was like, because someone else was like, "Oh, I need to get my passport sorted." And I was just like, "Do Americans just not have passports in general?"
No,
because nobody, and then people were saying we don't need them, and I was just like, "That's fair enough," because America is huge. It's got so many climates. You don't need to fly somewhere to have a beach holiday. You can just go to the other side of the US.
Just go to Florida or whatever. Go to California.
So it makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense why people never leave the US.
Well,
but
and also we're a third world country pretending to be a first world country. Like not a lot of people have a lot of extra money here in the US, and there are people who are just drowning in student loan debt and various things that make it so like taking a very expensive holiday is just not viable for a lot of folks, especially when you're forced to take time off. And I'll just be honest with this too. A lot of places don't give you reasonable time off. So
true.
It's just really difficult to travel for a lot of folks from the US.
Which makes it even more interesting as well, because you weren't on the podcast when we discovered this, but obviously there's a New Zealand thing as well, Bill, coming up in January, which is even further away for a lot of people.
It's really close for me actually. I mean, other than the intercontinental countries like Canada and South America, Mexico, all that kind of stuff, like New Zealand is like, it's a little bit of a flight, but it's not that bad. They go fly to Hawaii, and I think you lay over maybe in Japan, and then or maybe lay over in Australia, and then you just fly down. Because I'm Pacific, I live on the Pacific coast anyway, so it's like, yeah. For me, it's not that bad. But
so it'd be interesting to see how they what they're doing for that, because apparently it's going to be like a guest list and stuff with regards to that. So I don't know how they're going to approach it, but that's a silver lining, I guess. If you can't make Worlds for whatever reason, then go to New Zealand instead. Perhaps that'll be a good alternative. I wish I could go, but obviously it's just Barcelona plus Christmas and then New Year is probably going to be pretty hard. I imagine maybe for a lot of people as well. Perhaps
if you're invited and they pay, well, here's the thing: if you're invited and they pay for your room and board, like and travel, would you go then? Like if you didn't have to pay for the flight?
Oh God, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I think. That's what I think will happen to the people who are invited, because it's called the celebrational, which is basically like an invitational, where they'll have like special guests, and they say special guests that you'll recognize throughout the Flesh and Blood community. And as far as I know, right now, no one I know has been formally invited yet. Or maybe they just haven't told me, and they're just being sneaky about it. But
I haven't heard any rumblings about it yet.
Yeah, and the thing is like they said they're going to announce who's coming at the play reception in Barcelona. So I imagine if you're going to be invited, they will probably tell you in the next couple weeks. I'll be honest.
They can't just be like, oh, these people are going, without even giving you any prior notice, surely.
Yeah, they can't be like, and the professor's going to be here. And then Brian's like, what? I am? Like, he's got things to do. I'm sure he'd love to go to New Zealand, but the dude's busy, so he has to make sure he's got time for it. Like,
unless they announce it in a way where they're like, okay, the following people are invited, and this is what the invitation means to you if you want to go, perhaps.
I hope they don't, because that could lead to feel bads in multiple ways. First of all, it leads to feel bads if you're not one of the people who are invited. I think that's going to feel bad either way. But also, if you're invited and then you have to publicly turn it down, like if you can't make it for whatever reason. So if you get publicly invited and then you're like, no, I can't go, then it would be like, I don't know.
Do you not just think there will be feel bads regardless?
Oh, so I said that. Yeah, I think there will be for sure.
Yeah, but
that's why I'm assuming they're not gonna. Even though I've talked to some people and they're like, oh, of course they're gonna ask you, but I'm like, yeah, but if they don't, and I expect them to, it's going to suck. So if I just approach it with like, nah, they might not invite me for whatever reason, and then they don't, I'll be like, okay, I was right. then I won't feel bad. As bad. That's how you do it. They'll soften the blow on yourself.
Yeah, expect the worst. Live in perpetual depression all the time.
Well, no, it's not like that. It's just a state of being realistic about things. And then I even do this with spoiler cards. I was like, oh, maybe this is the time they don't give me one. And they've always given me one up to this point. But you know what? Someday they might not. And then it'll be that time where I'm like, okay, maybe I just don't get one this time. So, yeah. I approach it the same way. But
yeah, exactly.
I would love to
Don't
go.
expect anything.
I'll be honest. I mean, just putting all the being 100% honest, I'd rather go to New Zealand than Spain. Nothing against Spain. Spain sounds cool, but I mean, New Zealand is like bucket list place that I would love to go to. It's like with Japan. I want to go to Japan. I want to go to New Zealand. Robin and I would actually really love to go to the UK. Robin studied a lot of Old English, and there's like some cool Old English sites and stuff like Sutton Hoo and stuff in the UK that Robin would like to go.
Yeah, just avoid Swindon. That's all I would say.
I don't know if there's any like Old English burials and castles in Swindon, right?
There's definitely not.
Swindon sounds like the Ohio,
Oh God, yeah.
Of the UK. I didn't even realize this until I started seeing people make fun of Swindon, and then it just kept happening. Like abroad in Japan made fun of Swindon, and then then someone else joked about like Swindon, and then Az just shared a thing that was just like, why Swindon sucks or something like that.
The worst has been named as the worst night outs in the UK.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I guess it is. It's just Ohio. It's the Ohio of the UK.
Oh dear.
Calling Swindon when.
Calling Swindon. Calling Wiltshire Swindon. Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant.
Robin,
4 attendees.
Yeah, you're
all that were pissed the night before.
You're one of them.
As his girlfriend and us.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not even from Swindon. That's so good.
Oh dear.
Wow. Hey, shout out if you're from Swindon, other than Az.
I don't think there's any other Flesh and Blood. That's when you know your game has made it. If it penetrates Swindon, right?
If it can survive in Swindon, it can survive anything.
Exactly.
Or Ohio. Oh god, that's so funny. Well,
like one person, like Swindon, that's me. That's where I am. Gets on a coach to go to the airport to fly to San Jose for your event for Worlds. You know you've made it.
I mean, that is pretty global reach. In fact, actually, I do have something to say, Flesh and Blood wise, I guess. I was chatting with someone in my the Rogues Gallery community Discord, and he was talking about how he's trying to, or they, I should say, I don't know their gender. They're talking about how to build a community in where they are, and they're like, well, yeah, Flesh and Blood just isn't supported here. But I have built like the Magic community here. I built the Pokemon community here. And I was just like, oh, if you don't mind me asking, where are you? And he says he's in South Africa. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can't think of any like Flesh and Blood things that happen in like Africa at all. Like I can't even think of any like trade routes that could like easily, get product to South Africa, because that's what they were saying was their prime concern is like, it's just really hard for them to get Flesh and Blood at all. Just any product. They can get Magic, but they can't get Flesh and Blood. And so they were asking like tips for like starting community. What are the best blitz decks and all this kind of stuff. And we had a nice little chat, but
nice. Yeah.
It kind of goes with what Az was saying. It's not quite Swindon, but it's still kind of like, a fairly, it's an area that isn't typically serviced for like Flesh and Blood that is picking up Flesh and Blood is what I'm trying to get at. And so I think that's awesome. And I was just like, if you ever have any questions or whatever, just let us know. People in my community are very, very helpful on the Discord. So it's just like, if you have any questions, yeah. But I think that's awesome. And so shout out to you if you're listening, and shout out to the South African community, because I think it's cool every time something like this pops up. And I told them just keep asking LSS for support, even if they're not doing it now. Eventually, I have a feeling that they'll want to. It took Brazil a while to get support. It took Japan a while to get support. Like Japan is finally getting their localization next year. They had events this year, but they're finally getting translations next year. And yeah, just keep at it. So yeah, I guess I did have something Flesh and Blood ish related to talk about.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, there isn't really like we're still sort of in a position like sort of in between things that are happening, and obviously the newest thing that's going to be coming up is Barcelona. So just another bridge episode to get us there. So
one thing that is available at Barcelona though is the sigils, which were spoiled by Sunflower Samurai, and there are. I don't know whether you get them for every side event that you enter, but on the Friday, there's Sagrada Blitz, Sagrada CC, Sagrada something. So as long as you enter those events, which is like the preamble to Worlds, you will get a sigil if you enter in any of those events. So I will probably do the CC event on the Friday, which starts at 10. As long as I'm not absolutely pissed from the night before. As
is going to be, I'm calling it here. You're not going to be hungover. You're going to be still drunk from the night before.
Still drunk from the night before. Also, if you haven't done this already, Bill, you need to get a player reception ticket for the Thursday as well.
Yes.
Because you need a ticket to.
Actually.
Yeah, because you need a ticket to get in there. Unless you've qualified for World, you have to pay to get in, which is a bit of a shame.
I'm going to blow your mind right now. I did not qualify.
Did you not? Damn it!
I've been to like one official event in the past 3 months.
You could also throw your what is the right word for it? Throw your weight around. Because like for the Worlds one, I didn't. How do I put this? I got invited to it, but I didn't qualify. So I got like a email that it was like, oh, we want to invite you to like a special VIP dinner thing, and I was like, oh, I don't know if that qualifies me for the player reception or whatever. So I just walked in with the professor, with the professor. So it was just me, Prof, and Olivia, which we're just kind of a group, and so we're just like, oh, hey, we're here, and we just walked past. Yeah.
That's what hard work pays off, isn't it? You know.
I mean, yeah,
you're
literally
a full-time content creator. You should be, allowed to go into an event for free. That's just the way it works, I guess.
Well, I will say, like I said before, I spent more time making videos than actually playing the game. It's a lot of It's a lot of work. But yeah. So yeah, just go find the professor and hang around with him, and then you'll get in free. Don't go bug by the listener out there. Don't go pester him. Go say hi to him if he goes. But I haven't talked to him in a little while. I'm not sure. But if he goes, go say hi to him. But like, don't follow him around. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, I know as somebody who like even in Minneapolis when I was hanging out with everybody else from the Spike Feeders that was being readily recognized and stuff, and like especially Jim, who was there like for basically work purposes. They like flew him out and whatever.
Yeah, he's like Commander Councilman or something, whatever the title is.
Yeah. So like it's always nice to meet people, but at the same time, like it's very busy. Like especially if you're an important person. So it's always nice to say hi to people, but they might not have a ton of time to talk. So don't feel too bad.
Don't feel too bad about saying hi. I have had a lot of situations where I'm like playing. This is like for the Grand Archive event that I was at. I was playing, in like a sealed event, and I was just chatting, and then halfway through, I can't remember what I mentioned, but I mentioned something, and they're like, "Oh, are you that guy? Are you Red Zone Rogue?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Oh, I thought so. I just didn't want to say anything." And I'm like, "Oh no, it's fine. I don't care." And there was another one I was playing against someone. We were just chatting, and then the guy next to us was like, oh yeah, don't you know he's like famous? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And he's like, yeah, he's on YouTube. And I'm like, no, I'm just a guy. I'm just don't worry about it. And he's like, oh, are you really famous? And I'm like, no, I'm just a guy. And he's like, I was like, oh yeah, I have a YouTube channel and yada yada yada. Anyway, long story short. But yeah, the interactions can be pretty funny.
I mean, you'll at these events, you'll at least run into people that are also creators or players in the space that know you just from being on Twitter or the internet. You know, that's just going to be the case. You're going to run into Mara. You know, you're going to run into Pablo Pintor, who are going to know, you know, to a certain degree who you are and what you're doing, which is nice because it's like a nice little networking event. That's what Worlds is great for. You know, that's what Worlds was like last time. It's just a place to meet loads of people and just have a chat, and then you know you might not see them again for the weekend, but at least you've said hi, at least you've done this, and that's the beauty of it. That's the best part of these events for me is just meeting everybody.
So, I have another thing we could talk about really quickly that Az and I will be participating in. Bill is welcome to participate in as well. We haven't really talked about it yet, but so this is a Flesh and Blood community member. You might know him from Decks and Drafts. His name is Joey. Last year, he put on an event called the Coaxing, which is kind of like his own fan-run like Flesh and Blood event at like a tap house brewery kind of place, and you drink beers, play Flesh and Blood. It looked really cool. It had a really cool turnout with like official like tournament structures and everything. It was really cool. And so Joey's doing that again this year, and they're going to be streaming the event. And basically he asked myself and Az separately, actually, and then he told me that it's like, oh yeah, Az already agreed to it. And I was like, oh sweet. If I wanted to do a guest round of coverage for the event, this would be remote, you know, through webcam or whatever. And I was like, yeah, sure, sounds like fun. He's like, oh yeah, Az will be there. I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Actually, just give Az and I a round together, and it'll just be insane. And he was like, yeah, if Bill wants to get off, he could join too. And I was like, well, we'll mention it to him. By the way, it's just a webcam coverage, and then you will be compensated in swag, basically, which is like play mats and a bunch of stuff like t-shirts.
We only have to do one round as well.
Yeah, it's really short too.
Suggested doing a Living Legends Living Legends game, basically.
Yeah.
So if you're up for that, Bill, it'll be on December the 10th at some stage during that day.
Yeah.
So
it's not LSS official, so he's like, oh yeah, you don't have to be like super like strict about it. And I'm just like,
no, I've already said to him that I'm going to be drinking on the commentator, and he's like, yeah, that's fine.
I mean, it's called the Coaxing, or
yeah.
And the whole point is like they're at a tap house or like a brewery or whatever. So like that's kind of the point. So I'll be drinking too. I'll get something good. Yeah.
He sent me the ingredients for the cocktail, the special, the crazy brew they're calling it.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to attempt to make for when we're on, basically. I'll drink it.
And they're doing a custom playmat for it, and it is, I don't know if they've showed it yet or not, so I don't know if I can tell you, but it has meeps on it, and it's got like, it's a fun mat. It's a fun mat. So anyway,
yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. So
here we go. Look, for you guys. Oh no, I've copied the wrong thing. Little peek behind the curtain of this actual cocktail.
Look at it.
Oh, it looks good. So I'm gonna try and make this.
Ooh.
The crazy brew.
So
and it's been made by Jen Holden, is the brewmeister by the looks of it. So Jen's made this for the event.
It looks good.
Is that Joey's other half? I can't remember, but it could be. But I don't know.
I don't know, but
I'm not sure. But
for those listening,
Jen.
Is this secret? I don't know if it's a secret thing with the.
I don't think so.
Okay, so for those listening, 1 ounce Asker Yggdrasil gin, 1 ounce St. George spiced pear liqueur, 0.5 ounce lime juice, a 1/4 ounce spiced Demerara syrup. I'm not sure.
Demerara syrup, yeah,
Yeah.
like sugary stuff, isn't it?
2 dashes bitters. This is the Angostura bitters. Filled with ginger beer, and then you rim it with cinnamon.
You rim it. Interesting.
Rim it. Yeah. You put it on the rim. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you garnish with a cinnamon stick, and star anise, brew glitter, and color changing LED ice cube. It makes like this.
God, it looks great though.
Oh, you
I
can't see
love
it.
a good cocktail.
Yeah, I'm pretty simple when maybe I'm not. I was gonna say I'm pretty simple when it comes to that kind of stuff, but I do love a good sweet or sour cocktail.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'll just order like a
same here.
mojito. Give me like a dirty mojito, and I'll be very happy.
Oh yeah, mojitos or margaritas or something like that. What do you drink when you're out, Bill? I need to know.
Old fashions through and through.
Old fashions. Yeah. Okay.
It's just bourbon with a little bit of extra stuff, and that's it.
Yeah, my go-to if I'm getting anything mixed with hard liquor is just gonna be mojito. Yeah, like specifically dirty mojito. I'd prefer spice rum instead of clear. Yeah, that's basically it. I'll drink whatever, but that's my go-to. If I'm not drinking liquor, it is usually some form of iced tea. Most of the time, Arnold Palmer. So that's iced tea and lemonade mixed. For the non-Americans out there. So, yeah, that's my go-to. Iced tea and lemonade. Yeah.
When you arrive on the Wednesday, Bill, there's going to be a fridge full of drinks.
Oh hell yeah!
Hell yeah! It's going to be wild. I'm going to say up front, I'm very glad that I took the remainder of the week afterwards off as well.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it until as sort of double checked the math for our Airbnb and was just like, oh yeah, like how many days are you staying? And I said, oh yeah, no, I'm leaving on the Monday, like right after. And I looked it up again just to make sure. And I certainly do leave on Monday at about 5:30 in the morning because I booked the cheapest flight.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh yeah, boy.
You're just gonna have to stay up the whole night then.
So
Because no sleep.
Yeah.
Then you could just sleep on the plane back, surely.
Exactly.
That works.
It's like an hour plane ride to Frankfurt, and then it's like 8.5 hours from Frankfurt to Winnipeg. So we're good.
Oh, it's not actually that bad then, really. It's not too bad.
Fine. I'll survive.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, really.
9 hours. You haven't hit the double digit yet, so
yeah. No, I think I've done worse potentially. I don't know.
What time's your flight on the Monday?
About 5:30 in the morning, I think. On the Monday.
All right, so yeah, you have to leave. You have to leave to go to the airport. Yeah, probably what 3 o'clock then, surely.
Yeah, 2:30.
Well, I have to stay up then.
Yeah, I think it would be more difficult for me to actually sleep in between.
Jeez, yeah, like in the clubs where all the Flesh and Blood people are hanging out on the last day. They're right. I'm gonna have to get an Uber. Where are you getting? Where are you going back to the Airbnb? Nah, the airport.
Going just straight to the airport.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
brilliant.
No, but again, very excited for Barcelona. Anybody who's listening and has the ability and is listening on a platform that allows for commenting, comment down below. Are you going to be in Barcelona? And if so, what are you going to be doing? Are you just going to be playing side events? Are you going to the main event? Any of the people who listen to this podcast qualify for Worlds? Let us know.
A few out there.
Yeah,
definitely a few out there.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. But yeah, anyway, I think we can probably just wrap it up for today, for this week. It was a little bit of a slower news week anyway, so
yeah. Do we
might as well end strong?
Yeah. Do we have any Arsenal? Anyone got anything in their arsenal? I have one thing, but I don't know if you guys got anything.
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
This is what I've been doing instead of doing a lot of Flesh and Blood stuff. Well, sort of. So those of you who have listened to previous ones know that I've been playing a little bit more video games lately, and I honestly think 2023 is maybe one of the best years in video games that I can remember. This year is insane. Alan Wake 2 is about to come out, and I love Alan Wake, and so I'm so stoked to play Alan Wake 2. Resident Evil 4 came out this year. Diablo 4 came out this year. Despite what people said about Season 1, I still think Diablo 4 is an incredible game. Baldur's Gate came out this year. Lies of P came out this year. And I've been playing a game called Sea of Stars, which is a turn-based, retro-inspired indie RPG, and it is one of the best games that I've played in dude, I don't know, the last 5 years. When I started playing it, they have a free demo. So by the way, if you want to play it, they have a free demo. Go play the demo. It'll give you the vibes and all that kind of stuff. It's it plays like Chrono Trigger or Golden Sun. And that is the biggest praise I can give, because those two games are literally two of my favorite games of all time. And it reminds me of those games in a lot of different ways that I won't tell you because that is spoilers. The game is probably close to about 40 hours long. I'm at the end. I'm at the point where I can go fight the final boss, but then a lot of things just opened up to me, so I'm doing a lot of little quick side things and side quests and things before I go fight the final boss. The game is brilliant. The music is brilliant. I just kind of there's a point in the game where I really love the game. I really like the game, and then something happened, and now I just really love it. It went from oh, I like this game to oh no, I love this game. So Sea of Stars, so much so, by the way, that it has inspired me to work a little bit more on a game that I have been kind of working on in the last 3 or 4 years. And so it's a game that it basically helped inspire the world. So the game that I've been working on I think the idea is solid, and I've mentioned it before here and there. It is a cooperative card game that also probably will use dice. And the idea initially was this dungeon crawler. It's kind of like a roguelite, so every time you play it, it's different. There'll be a set of tiles. It'll be a board game, not a trading card game. But after playing Sea of Stars and thinking about it in terms of some other context, I've also been watching Loki, by the way, which is very good. And then thinking about Chrono Trigger and thinking about a bunch of other stuff really, really inspired me to do a lot of really cool world building that really excites me. It gets me I'm just oh, it's so fucking cool. And so I have a name. I don't know if I'll stick with the name for the game, but I'm not gonna talk too much about it yet. This is super early, but maybe it's something that I actually do. Yeah, it went from a thing. Sea of Stars inspired me so much. So it went from a thing that was just kind of this nebulous idea of yeah, maybe someday I'll make a thing, to maybe I actually will. Maybe I actually start this, because I've made connections in the card gaming industry, and I think I have a better shot than a lot of people to make something that's half decent, because I know artists, I know game designers. These are people are friends of mine, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I can do. But the working title for the game is called The End of Eternity. So, we'll I don't know. We'll talk. Maybe I'll talk about it later. I don't know. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. I wrote a whole spreadsheet of ideas and talked to Robin about it. And I don't know. We'll see. I'll tell you guys after the podcast. I don't want to tell people yet. But
sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well then,
Sea of Stars, you should play it. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
I legitimately
let's slingshot.
Yeah.
Let's slingshot our way to that point in time then. Just to go around and sign off. I have been Bill from the Spike Feeders. You can find me on YouTube at Spike Feeders Fab. We do live edited gameplay content, and as I said earlier, we are going to be releasing in-person UPF videos. So you should definitely go check that out if that's something that's interesting to you. Also, keep an eye out on our main Spike Feeders channel, because we are going to be hosting one of the 2 videos on there. Very exciting sort of cross promotion that we're going to be doing, and really excited for it and to see what the reaction is to our mostly Magic the Gathering audience. And you can also find me on Twitter at BillTSF, and also other other services that are similar, other social media platforms. I will kick it over alphabetically to Az.
Yeah. So I'm Az from Go Again Gaming. So Go Again Gaming AZ on Twitter and various other things as well. I'd like posting random stuff every now and again, so go and follow me. That'll be good stuff. Recently did the Azalea video, the Azalea cult video, which was pretty informative, I think. It was a nice little insight into the first winning deck for Azalea, so go and check that out. That's on Go Again Gaming, and yeah, going to be doing a lot of vlog content for Worlds, obviously. So you're going to see Bill in that for sure. As long as he's happy for appearing in multiple states of being. Because Go Again Gaming is R-rated channel, so you can expect to see all sorts of debauchery on there as long as the consent is from the people that are in the videos.
This is Bill as a solid. This is Bill as a liquid.
Absolutely, yeah.
Really excited to see myself as a Bose-Einstein condensate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very niche joke.
Brilliant. But also, as well, before we close off, this episode today was sponsored by the Banished Zone. So make sure you go check out their ProQuest. I think it's on the 4th of November. It is in this chat here. But you would have seen an advert that I would have done at the very start, which gives you all the details of the ProQuest. What's going to be happening there. So yeah, we would have already mentioned that already, but I just thought I'd mention it again on the end. And the Living Legends podcast at gmail.com. We'll have to wait till next week. We do have something in there. Unless you want to address it now, it's up to you. But I want to hear what this game's about. So maybe we can leave it till next week.
We'll do next week. Yeah.
Next week. Yeah.
Well,
something in there.
The week after. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Next week, Sam Yang. We'll play it by
That's
ear.
right.
We'll play it by ear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll let them build up a little bit then. But yeah, if you've got any stories, comments, and questions, now's the time to do it. That's Living Legends podcast at gmail.com. But if not, then just leave a comment on the video and all this. And yeah, rate us on Spotify as well, I guess. 5 stars. That'd be good.
Yeah. That'd be
or
cool.
whatever you want to rate us.
5 stars is
Whatever
good. You know, 5 stars feels right. Anyway, and I'm Kel, also known as Red Zone Rogue. You can find me at Red Zone Rogue everywhere. YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, I'll talk about card games because I love card games. And so
yeah,
that's about that. Thanks for watching, everyone. Or listening, dear listener.
I'd like to say thanks for hanging out.
Yes.
Yeah. Truly,
that's what it always is.
That is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. So once again, thank you everybody at home. Again, thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you all in the next episode with Sam Yang.
Absolutely.
Definitely tune in for that one. That's going to be very, very fun.
Yeah.
Cheers, folks.
Bye.